We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. We are talking gun laws this morning. A lot of changes here in the legislature as well as at the national level. With us is John Harris of the Tennessee Firearms Association. John, we're going to take one quick call and then I've got a question for you as we go to the NRA. And let's take it from Charles. Charles, good morning. Hi, Charles.
Hey, I got a question I want to ask about gun law.
Okay.
Back here in 1957, I was riding in a stolen car in Kentucky.
Okay.
And I have tried to get information on this here. Kentucky don't have no record of it. And I was turned over to the government, and they don't have no information on it. Only person that is got against me is the state of Tennessee. But it happened in Kentucky, and I was turned over to the federal for a direct riding a stolen car across state line.
And what does that have to do with a gun? Did you have a gun with you?
I tried to buy one, and they said that I'm not able to get one.
Okay. I think what the issue for him right now is he is trying to purchase a gun, John, and I think he has this prior possible charge or conviction for something, and it's blocking his ability to buy the weapon. If that's the case, as I understood it, what do you suggest for him?
If that's the case, if he's got a conviction in another state, then he's going to have to deal with that in that state. That's usually involving either a petition for restoration of rights under whatever it's called in that jurisdiction, an expungement, or a pardon. But he's first going to have to clear up his criminal record in that venue. If it was in Tennessee, we would have to do the same thing here. But you can't fix a problem in another state by just trying to address it in the Tennessee courts. You've got to go back to that state, in his case, Kentucky, and get that record clean. And if there's no evidence of the record, that may well mean that there was never a conviction entered. There's only an arrest that was entered. And you can address that by cleaning up the records or going to a court, but he's going to have to probably get the assistance of an attorney there to do it.
Okay, because obviously something's kicking in where when he's trying to buy the gun, they know about it. So there's got to be some information somewhere on this. So you're right.
It'll be in the federal database that there was at least an arrest.
Okay, I hope that helps you, Charles. I hope that's what you're driving at. Quickly, let's go to this question of the NRA, all right, which I know you are a member, and many Tennesseans are in the National Rifle Association, but it's had some troubles of late. And tell me what you know about this class action lawsuit filed against the NRA in Tennessee. And I know it originally was filed, I think, 2 years ago, right? And yet there may be an update to it now, even though it has not been heard.
There was an individual in Tennessee that in, I think, 2019 filed a class action lawsuit against the NRA. I've seen a copy of the complaint. I've not looked at the history to know what the current status of it is. But when I read the copy of the complaint from 2019, it mirrored a lot of the issues that the New York Attorney General was raising in the lawsuits in New York and some in other states that have been going after the NRA and its status as a nonprofit corporation. And that's sort of what's in this Tennessee lawsuit. Is there's a claim against the NRA, not to try to dissolve it as a nonprofit organization, but claiming as members or on behalf of members that the NRA's executive team and or its board of directors have allowed certain high-ranking officials and third-party contractors to essentially use the NRA membership money that's been paid in abusively. That is, in terms of paying $1 million plus salaries, having expense accounts in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and just wasting a lot of money on personal perks and benefits rather than doing stuff as a nonprofit should that benefits either the membership or the public. And that seems to be the thrust of it.
Sure. Yeah, like NRA may be talking about gun safety, education, promoting shooting sports, hunter safety, things like that, ownership rights, which the NRA is what they would think they'd be focused on. And these are allegations. I'm just curious, as an NRA member yourself, what are your thoughts then about, the allegations there as a member? How do you feel about it? And how do you feel about the NRA and where it stands right now dealing with this bankruptcy and some of the issues it's facing?
Well, as an NRA member, I'm like a lot of NRA members. I paid in and became a life member, and then I upgraded. They've got several levels essentially of life members, all to just get more money out of you. but I did that 20 something years ago. Now, I've had a lot of concerns about whether or not the leadership of the NRA was doing the right stuff for the members for a number of years. And so, although I am a member, I'm a benefactor level member. I'm also one of their referral attorneys in Tennessee, but I quit giving them any financial support years ago because I was concerned that the executives were paying themselves too high a salary. They were not supporting the right issues at the federal level, or they were capitulating, and that the lobbyists that they'd assigned to Tennessee since at least about 2007 and continuing through today have done horrible jobs for the interest of gun owners in Tennessee.
As a member, I mean, and this is class action, is it something that members like yourself could become a part of? I mean, have you thought about that for your point of view?
Well, the court would certify the membership if there were common claims, or if the court believed there were common claims that were applicable to all members. But the 2019 lawsuit is probably just tabled at this point, even if it's still alive, because when the NRA filed for bankruptcy reorganization relief recently, any pending lawsuits were automatically stayed by federal law. And so if it's going to go forward, it would have to be refiled as a claim in the bankruptcy court that certain executives or third parties or businesses have illegally or unlawfully diverted membership funds to inappropriate uses. And I think from the news reports I've seen that this individual may file that type of claim, but I suspect there'll be a lot of those kind of claims filed, given what has come out about the NRA's use of funds from the New York Attorney General.
Gotcha. All right. And with regard to just the future of the NRA and the fact that it's going to move from New York State to Texas, which I think makes some sense, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I do think it's a good move that probably should have been done 20 or 30 years ago to move the state of incorporation for the NRA to a more gun-friendly state, because the New York has not been a gun-friendly state for many, many years. You know, its headquarters is actually in Virginia, so its main headquarters isn't even in New York, but it is a New York corporation because that's where it was formed 125, or so years ago. Moving that to Texas or any other state that's more gun-friendly is probably a gun move. But the thing that's different now about the gun issue at the national level is, for a long time, people believed that the citizens only advocate in Congress was the NRA, and that is no longer the truth nor the fact. There are other national organizations like Second Amendment Foundation, Gun Owners of America, National Association of Gun Rights, Firearms Policy Center. There's a lot of them now that actually do a better job, more cost effectively for gun owners than the NRA does.
All right, maybe a battle to survive there as it stands moving forward. Listen, we've got another phone call for you. This one from Joe. Joe, good morning. Hi, Joe.
Good morning, Nick.
Morning.
John. I agree with John on the NRA. I stopped my membership with them a while ago because Wayne LaPrairie and some of those guys were spending money like a drunk sailor. So they wasn't doing anything for me or the gun owners the way I saw it. One other quick question is kind of backing up a little bit on what's been said. On constitutional carry, which the legislators never give us anything on that. But on constitutional carry, do you have to carry the gun outward where it can be seen, or can you carry it anywhere? In other words,
concealed?
Concealed.
Okay.
That's a great question, and it depends on which bill you're looking at. If you look at Representative Griffey's bill, it would allow open or concealed carry as a matter of permitless or constitutional carry. There was another bill filed last year And it would have allowed permitless carry, but only so long as the weapon was concealed from visibility. That's a step towards constitutional carry. It's not the norm. 30 states have just the reverse of that you don't need a permit if you conceal it, but you got to have a permit to conceal it or hide it. And that's actually where the terminology concealed weapon permit derives from. Most states, you don't have to have a permit if you can see it. And then there's the governor's bill, and it's not even really a constitutional carry or permitless carry bill at all. It's just a defense. If it gets refiled as it was last year, it's just a defense that only certain individuals can raise, that they were not committing a crime by carrying a weapon under the particular circumstances at the time.
Gotcha. On that note, let's take a break. When we come back, more of our conversation and what we think might happen with regard to gun laws and legislation in Washington, D.C. We'll be back right after this.